There's something that the world and the media particularly doesn't understand about Israel. This country doesn't survive because of politicians. It doesn't hold the line because of think tanks or international aid. It survives. Correction. It thrives because of one thing. Its citizen army. And I'm talking about the IDF's reservists, the backbone, the shopkeeper in Haifa who trades his apron for a helmet, the high-tech coder from Herzliya who puts down his laptop and picks up an M4 carbine, the father of 3 who goes straight from school drop-off to a staging zone in the Shayetet Shalosh Esrei, the Israeli Navy SEALs in Gaza. These aren't just backup troops. These are the very soul of the Jewish state. And while the world talks about Israel being stretched thin, I'm here to tell you something. These warriors aren't breaking. They're just getting warmed up. Israel was never supposed to fight long wars, and from the start, its doctrine was speed, surprise, and decisive victories. Mobilize fast, strike hard, get home. That's always been how the IDF has operated. But like with all warfare, the battlefield has changed. The enemies have evolved, and today Israel isn't just fighting terror cells, it's fighting a proxy war with Iran across multiple fronts. And that means the old playbook had to adapt. And the answer? You lean on one thing no other country has: the Israeli reservist system. And the IDF isn't built like the American military. It has a small standing army, but a massive combat-trained and battle-tested reserve corps. These men and women already served full active duty combat tours, and they've been through Lebanon. They've been through Gaza in the last 18 months and through dozens of various covert and special operations. And when Israel calls, they don't hesitate. You're not calling up weekend warriors in the guard. You're reactivating warriors who've gone through the most intense combat in modern warfare. So I want to talk about who these reservists are. Look at the units being reactivated right now. I want to introduce them to you guys. These aren't symbolic call-ups. These are elite reserve brigades with muscle memory forged into their DNA. You've got the 551st Paratroopers, fast, mobile, hard-hitting. You've got the 828th Golani Reserves, urban combat specialists, northern warfare masters who train to hold the line up in the north in the Golan Heights. You've got veterans from Maglan, Duvdevan, my unit, and Seyeret Matkal stepping back into the breach, and some are being funneled into command roles, and some are being dropped back into live combat, and all of them carry that burden equally. But it's not just about boots on the ground. The 8,200 cyber elite signals intelligence reserve teams are running deep surveillance on Hezbollah. That pager up. And Gaza, all those leaders killed from Tel Aviv bunkers. And the Shin Bet and the Imam call in past operatives when that pressure spikes. And these aren't decorations. These are very deadly special operations assets. And what makes them even more powerful is that these aren't nameless uniforms. These are civilians with lives. And they're putting everything on pause. Again, to protect a country that simply cannot afford to lose once. You ever wonder why I built this show? Because after October 7th, I watched the media lie. I watched people justify terror. And I watched the world turn its back on the truth. So I picked up this mic and I turned it into a weapon and this studio into my battle room. This isn't just a podcast. It's a counterterrorism mission. But I'm not backed by a network. There's no corporate sponsors. There's no PR team. This show runs on you. And if the truth matters to you, and if you've ever said, finally, someone's standing up and said it, then help me keep it going. You can donate directly, or you can pick up my deep concealment holster, same one I trained Keanu Reeves on for John Wick, runs below the waistband, never gonna fall off you in lightning fast draw with just a little bit of training. Or you can grab a 3-pack of the Aaron Cohen famous Merkava coffee, strong enough to fuel counterterrorism. Or you can grab a signed copy of my best-selling memoir, Brotherhood of Warriors, The Story Behind the Fight. My memoir is the first American to serve in Israel's top special operations counterterror unit. Every dollar pushes the mission forward. Click the link below to support the show, because never again means now. Now, I want to talk about the enemy today. This isn't a forever war. It's a forever threat. That's how I see it. And Hamas doesn't just want territory. They want genocide. Iran doesn't want coexistence. They want annihilation. They want to destroy us. And the reservists understand this better than anyone, because many of them have lost friends and loved ones, and they've carried out hostage rescues. They've raided those terror tunnels in Gaza. They've returned home from funeral after funeral, and they keep coming back. And since October 7th, Israel's threat matrix exploded. You've got Hamas in the south. Hezbollah was up in the north. You've got the PIJ and the Tanzim in Judea and Samaria. Iranian drones over Syria, and cyber attacks coming from everywhere. It's a multi-front war, and Israel has no buffer zone. The front line has always been Israel's front door. And that's why the reservists matter most. They're not just plugging gaps. They're projecting power, fast, local, lethal, but most importantly, smart. Now, I want to talk about the internal strain that's being talked about. And I want to be honest. Not everyone in Israel carries the same weight. It's true. That's the debate that goes on in Israel and in the streets. And there is growing frustration. Remember, Israel's a democracy. So understandably so. You've got the Haredi community continuing to receive primarily full military exemptions when the same families keep sending their sons back to the battlefield and others remain untouched. The social fabric begins to stretch. However, Israelis are strong because they confront hard conversations dead on, man. Israelis are no nonsense. They'll tell you to your face. And these debates don't weaken Israel. They prove it's a democracy. Unlike Gaza, a nation where soldiers fight with the right to speak out and return home to challenge that system because they defend it. And at the same time, let's not confuse the dissent with defeat. The reservists keep showing up. The army keeps reactivating as needed. There's 10,000 you're getting called up right now. And the mission stays the same. Defend the Jewish homeland no matter what. And here's what I think the world doesn't understand, and I want to crystallize this. Western analysts look at this and they say Israel's probably overextended. They don't get it. That's because they don't understand Zionism. They don't understand what it means to be surrounded by enemies who chant for your destruction while the United Nations writes resolutions. Israel isn't collapsing under this pressure. It only gets better. In Hebrew, they say pressure creates diamonds. It was born in it, and Israelis were never promised peace. They were promised freedom, and that comes at a cost. It always has. You don't build a citizen army like this overnight, by the way. It takes culture. It takes history. It takes values. It takes a deep understanding that this isn't just a war. It's part of the Jewish legacy. So I want to close it out with this. Here's the truth. Israel's reservists are not worn out. They're worn in, hardened by fire in combat, sharpened by loss, and they will keep showing up until the last terrorist threat is neutralized and the last hostage is rescued. And to the armchair analysts, the think tank pessimists, the foreign journalists on the far left, wringing their hands, stop talking about collapse. and start recognizing resilience. These reservists aren't Israel's weakness. They're its greatest strength. And if the West ever finds itself in a war for survival the way Israel does, they will wish they had a citizen army like Israel does. I want to thank you guys for watching this one. אני מצדיע לכל המילואימניקים שמסתכלים ורואים את זה. I want to salute every reservist in Israel right now who's watching this episode. אנחנו כאן באולפן הזאת. אני מצדיע לכם. I salute you. I want to thank you guys for watching. I'm Aaron Cohen. You're watching the Aaron Cohen Show, and I will catch you guys on the next one.